product, you look at how all the information comes from all the products that you're building, and you create an entire ecosystem around this. Sure, it's a thought, but I think you have to start thinking this way, even if you're in manufacturing. They had something, and I think we took the chart out, but there was something that said effectively that, you know, if you were in the oil and gas business, if you reduce the infrastructure expenditure by 1%, you would generate $90 billion or something. Here, a 1% productivity and savings results in $500 million for GE. You can create this. You can create opportunities like this if you're willing to look a little bit in this direction. So, I'm going to come back a little to my world, because it's the world I understand a little bit better, and I can talk to it. What we've come to conclude is that there's a lot of interesting learnings from the West and from, let's say, the East. What we want to do is not say that I'm just going to build Uber in India. Uber showed us that access versus ownership is a premise that consumers are willing to buy into. Let's say Dropbox. Dropbox showed that you can have a freemium model. Dropbox basically gives you the ability to store your files on the cloud, and once you hit a certain size, they'll then start to charge you for it. Or once you want to do a certain amount of collaboration with people, they'll start to charge you for it. But they give you the full range of features up front, and then they come in later, called a freemium model. Now, I don't want to build a Dropbox for India, but what I do want to do is take the learning of that business model. Warby Parker showed us that you can build a brand off the internet. You can actually start and you can own product, build the product better, distribute it off the internet. So I don't want to build an eyeglass company, but I want to take that idea and match it with the right market for India. And so that's how we look at the world. And so what we did is we kind of said, these are the different business models that we look at. So access versus ownership, freemium, a marketplace model where you have lots of different suppliers and lots of different customers coming together, and all you do is facilitate the transaction. You have the re-economy, so the refurbish, the reuse, the recycle, the idea that products can get used over and over again. You have made on the internet brands, so this is again your Warby Parkers, your Bonobos, your Honest Company. These are another area that we can look at, and you have subscription. So this list will keep growing for us as we keep learning different things. And I think that's the important thing for us has been to separate out the market from the business model. And I actually honestly believe that this applies to B2B as well. This applies to enterprise. This applies to any segment at all. Because I think that every business model is up for debate. Why do you sell furniture? Why do you sell me a lock? Why do you sell me anything? Why do I buy, and maybe in India less so, but why do I buy, let's say, a barbecue if I were living in America, if I'm going to use it twice a year? Why don't I just ask Uber for a barbecue from the nearest place whenever I want it? And why don't we take the Airbnb model and let somebody who owns a barbecue actually make money off of giving it to me? So you can mix and match different things in different ways. Now suddenly, if that's the way things can go, can you increase consumption? Again, I'll talk a little bit about our thoughts on the furniture side and why that made sense to us. Oh, actually, it's the next slide. Great. So when we looked at the furniture market, and this is an example of mixing and matching models, we kind of said it's a large market, and I know you have expertise here in it directly, and so I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. But when we looked at it, we said that it's a very fragmented market. And like most things, very fragmented. No one has huge amounts of market share, which isn't great for us. When we looked at the problems that existed, this was per capita income here. And if I look at the cost of furnishing an average house, we kind of said that, look, the offline high-end side of the market is very high. The unorganized sort of markets that are out there are lower. Online didn't do anything useful to this. They didn't bring the price down in any significant way. An Urban Ladder, a Pepperfry, it's great. They brought products online. They probably got more people to be able to search it, but they didn't change the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem was, or we believe, that a large number of people live an underfurnished life. And so if a large number of people live an underfurnished life, can I change the very nature of how people access furniture? Furniture is the third most expensive item that people have. It's house, car, furniture. Now, you could say I have a job, I work at Infosys, I need a house, I need somewhere to live. Maybe I need to get from point A to point B. Maybe I need a car. Maybe I don't. Now I don't need a car. Uber is solving that. Ola is solving that. And you know how people have decided from a furniture standpoint is I'll throw a mattress on the floor. It's fine. I'll survive. I don't need the dining table. And I'm going to move in another 2 years or 3 years. They're going to ship me off to New York to work on a project or somewhere else. This is just one segment, by the way. We've thought about this across multiple segments. And so we believe that even the market size of this is highly underestimated based on the current consumption that takes place. If I started to try to assess the Uber market by the number of people that take taxis, I'm not sure I would do service to the $66 billion valuation. The same way, I don't think we can try to assess the idea of how big a furniture subscription business can be based on how many people buy furniture today. So I think what we're trying to do is trying to change the very nature of that. And it's an economic model that actually works really well. We get 5% monthly yield on our capital, or 60% annualized. We have customers that are sticking with us for 14 months, so there's on average, and that's growing. We're a very early, small, young company right now. Our subscriber base has grown drastically, and it's based on the idea, again, of understanding unique aspects of the Indian consumer. Now, I'm being very open about all this because I think it's not a very, it's not something that will benefit from being secretive about, and I think if other people get into it, it's a huge market, it's not a big deal. But this is what people are going to do. They're going to go after every idea in every space that you guys are in and start to say, why not? Why not just change it? And look, we could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this could turn out to be a big failure, and that's fine. But it could also turn out to look a lot like those other charts that I've shown you. Because right now, that's how the subscriber numbers are looking. And so I think this is one business. We've looked at education. We're in a test prep company called Imbibe. And then, I hate some more water. I'll just... Thanks. So, out of curiosity, has anyone been to IIT here? Yeah. Okay, so this exam is nuts, and I'm congratulations and on having done it. And you know, when we look at this, we said it's so competitive, it's so crazy, and it breaks up into two parts in our mind. One is pure knowledge, and the other is test-taking skills, and really understanding how to navigate this. And we felt that, you know, if you could personalize the experience and give people an understanding of where their deficiencies individually are. Large tuition schools are actually priding themselves and more so on how big they are. Look at all the people that come here. 2,000 people come to my tuition program. Well, if I'm the poor guy sitting in that class, I have no attention to where I am, no understanding of what's going wrong with me. You didn't do well in the physics paper, do more physics. Forget the fact that it's not do more physics. Maybe I haven't understood the fundamental concept of velocity. The 10 questions I keep getting wrong all have to do with the fact that I haven't understood velocity properly. I need to understand that. How are they possibly going to help you figure that out? And why would they care to? Because the only thing that matters for that tuition program is that they get the All India ranked #1 guy so that they can put that on their ad the next time. So if you're the guy with the potential, you're the guy that gets the time. If you're the guy who's struggling, goodbye. Thank you for your check. And that meant that we could use data, technology, personalization to create a very different business opportunity. So we built a platform. We actually started charging people for it. And then we realized, you know, charging doesn't make sense. We need data. So we made it free. And this is where, again, we used the idea of Dropbox. And it was very, very explicit. And if we made all the features free, got people using it, we'd get more engagement. As we got more